Hey, what's going on there, folks? Welcome back here to another update on this weekend. It is Saturday, January 27th, 2024, about 12:50 p.m. here, California time. Latest activity shows a 3.5 earthquake into Louisiana, near the Hall Summit area of Louisiana. We did see a 2.5 here earlier this morning, outside of the Shreveport area of Louisiana, north of Alexandria. That 2.5 coming in about 5 kilometers deep at 5 o'clock this morning, my time. 3.5 coming in right now in that same area. Looks like it has been reviewed. A couple folks reported feeling that earthquake. Looks like approximately 3 there in the Louisiana area. Don't see too much earthquake activity out here, but it looks like a little bit here in the last 12 hours or so within this zone of Louisiana. Now, let's go back here to the U.S. hazard map. It does sit outside of the zone in terms of close proximity to major fault systems, such as the New Madrid fault zone up here, well northeast of the Louisiana region. So a little odd, definitely a little odd to see some activity out there. Historical data, I know we don't have a lot out there. Let's check out the last 30 days and see what's going on. Looks like this one specific area does show some earthquake activity compared to the rest of the state there of Louisiana. This region definitely kicking up. Is there oil fields out here? It does look like there is some oil fields. Let me bring up the directions here real quick. I want to get a little bit better view into the Google Earth and see what's going on here out in Louisiana area. Oops, let's try that again. So this is going to be the epicenter of today's 3.5. It does look like there's some, see these little checkered boxes out here. Hard to tell exactly if that is indeed oil pumping operations out here. There's some tanks there. Those are definitely some type of operation. Maybe some of these might be older. This here looks like somebody's, well, oh, there's tanks as well. See these 2 tanks and some piping here. Definitely some type of, I don't know if it's natural gas or if it's fracking operations out here. But it looks like that earthquake activity is occurring in these fields here of some type of operation. So yeah, I'm not 100% familiar with this area in terms of, oh, there we go, Red River, Bull, and Bayou oil and gas field. So it does look like it sits out here in the oil and gas fields of Louisiana. A little bit of earthquake activity out there. Latest a 3.5. All right. What else we got here across the area? West Coast showing a little bit of movement out here, up and down the state, including one little earthquake right smack dab on the southern branch of the San Andreas Fault. Got to keep that sleeping. We don't want to wake it up. I'm just wondering how all the rain has affected the fault systems down here in Southern California. And more importantly, the plate boundary, right? The San Andreas Fault, very capable of producing an 8.1 earthquake. And it's locked. It's been building up steam here for a little bit. Over 300 years since we've had a major rupture here on the southern branch of the San Andreas Fault. Rain does, tend to seep down and potentially lubricate some of these fault systems and plate boundaries out here that could stir things up a little bit in terms of the percentage and the possibilities of seeing a larger earthquake out here. We do have a couple storm systems coming up that will bring down some more rainfall to this area. We'll just kind of keep an eye on it. Up into the Pacific Northwest, handful of smaller quakes, including one outside of the Victoria area. 2.3 coming in earlier this morning. Yellowstone National Park, I'm not seeing anything showing up here, but I do want to double check just for safety measures here. And it looks like there's a little bit of earthquake activity showing up here across the northwest corner of the park, mainly around the Maple Creek area. There's a nice little spike here. USGS really not showing anything here. They did have a 1.8 from yesterday over here around the Teton Mountain range here, but definitely looks like this is more recent, and a little couple spiky earthquakes around this main little event, which is probably a 2-pointer. These are going to be much smaller. We'll have to see if the USGS reports those on Monday. Anything that's below the 2.5 threshold will not show up here. Not supposed to anyway, unless it's been reviewed. And that tends to take place on the weekends and holidays for some reason. They turn off the reporting system unless it's above 2.5. New Madrid seismic zone over here, showing a couple smaller quakes from yesterday and today. So just keep an eye on it. Little interesting activity. One thing I've noticed here is the lack of earthquake activity outside of Pecos, Texas. It disappeared completely. One little earthquake up here, 2.7. I wonder if it's because it's a weekend, but I mean, normally this area is busy with earthquakes. The last week here shows about 108 earthquakes around the vicinity of Pecos, Texas. A lot of oil fields out here, but nothing showing up today. That's a little odd. All right, did have some larger scale movement last night underneath Guatemala into a portion of the Middle America Trench here, 108 kilometers for a 6.1. Now that was felt at the surface around the Guatemala area. Quite a few folks reported feeling that earthquake there, even down in the San Salvador area. The good thing about this is the depth. Had this been a little bit closer to the surface, then we'd be talking about some stronger shaking and potentially more damage from that 6.1. But it was into the Middle America Trench, about 108 kilometers or so. And of course, historically, Guatemala area, no stranger to large earthquakes. You can see the deeper movement quakes here into the subduction zone in the gray circles, darker gray circles, and of course upstream where some of the larger quakes take place there in the white circles. Very dangerous area in terms of the plate boundary and potential for large earthquake activity. Backing out here over to Hawaii we go. A handful of smaller quakes kicking up here today, and most of this within the last hour or so, just south of the Kīlauea volcano crater area, the summit region, if you will. This looks like it's towards the southwest rift zone area. Quite a few twos stirring up out here, about 1.5 kilometers below the surface. Let's double check this and see what's going on there across the area. Hazard map. HVO daily update was put out today. The volcano is currently not erupting. The Kilauea summit remains pressurized, and in recent months, unrest has escalated quickly, and an eruption could occur in the future with little warning. They're rewording this a little bit. Let's go over and check out the tilt meter here, see what we got today, and then we'll look at a webcam or two across the Kilauea volcano area. Tilt meter, UWE. Well, past 2 days we've gone up a little bit. Last 30 days here, but starting to get a little dip. I don't think it's going to go down. The trend tells us that if it does go down, then that means something's up here, that it's possible we could be looking at a temporary pause in the pressurization there across the summit region, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to slow down. I think it's going to go level a little bit and then go back up. And it's possible, even like they mentioned, that we could see an eruption at any time in this area. The inflation level across the summit region, the Kilauea volcano, is at its highest level since 2018. So that should tell you something. The latest look here of the overview of the Lava Lake area, today's time and date, does show volcanic gases out here seeping through the tiniest of cracks there at the summit region, but no visible eruption yet. But we are getting a little bit of earthquake activity stirring up in this region. Not a lot. but it's something to watch here for potential eruptive fissure activity. I think we'd see a lot more than this. Let me double check the seismograph station here around this area. See, it looks like a lot of that is just stirred up here recently. There's a lot more, though. There's actually a lot more than what the USGS is stating there. And they're stating about 9 earthquakes. 9 earthquakes in here. But, man, 9 times 9 times 9, maybe? There's a lot more than just 9 earthquakes on this map here. And that goes back, it looks like it started off this morning with some fluid movement. This right here is a very defined mark here on the graph that indicates some magma movement, some fluid movement below. When it's drawn out thick and lengthy like this, we know that's fluid movement. Earthquakes are going to look spiky and short, and there's a lot of spiky short earthquakes in here indicating it's possible we could see this thing maybe start happening today. It looks like there's a lot of earthquake activity, a lot more than what I've seen here recently. Let me double check these cams. This is from, well, that's no good. That's not going to help us here unless this, it's got to be from, it looks like December. So this is the one I just checked. I wish there was another one out here. That's displacement. This here is, that's today's date. I don't see anything listed on that one. That, yeah, what's going on there? I don't know. Nothing. It's all blurry. Again, it's hard to say exactly where this eruption activity is going to take place. Past couple eruptions here has been confined to the lava lake area. Back in 2018, of course, we had it outside of the lava lake area into the Lanali Estates area, if you guys remember that. I think it was 2018. Pretty certain it was. And most of the earthquake activity we've seen here across the Kīlauea volcano has been around the southwest rift zone, around the older 1974 events, and over here across the southeastern rift zone. So I'm kind of leaning more towards that we're going to see something open up here across this area south of the summit region. That's just what I'm kind of been looking at. Here's a recent image. Okay, this is from the 27th. I really don't see any signs of anything out there, but with this earthquake activity really ramping up like that, definitely needs to be watched here pretty closely. That's going to be, I think, this seismograph station, right? Yep. Very sharp, very well defined, and a lot of earthquake activity here in a short amount of time there across the summit region, or just south of the summit region of Kīlauea volcano. Let me see if I can get this seismograph station keyed up. See, that one shows the same as well. So it's not outside interference. It's not wind. Definitely looks like things may be happening here soon. I'll definitely keep an eye on that and check back on it here. It's been a while since I've seen it look like this. This seismograph station a little ways away from the earthquake activity, but still showing up there slightly. So we'll watch it. And I do have a Hot Caves Hawaii station right here, and it's showing some of the other earthquakes there, some of the ones that are above 2 magnitude, but it doesn't look like it's picking up all of these smaller ones either, but we'll just kind of watch it and see. Definitely somewhat elevated there today. All right, further out and about, a handful of earthquakes out here in the vicinity of the Indonesia Islands area, where we expect a lot of earthquake activity to occur. The latest one, a 5.0, somewhat deep here into the Philippine Trench area, 158 kilometers underneath this region. Across New Zealand, looks like they've had a handful of quakes out there in the last 24, mostly 3s. Been getting a little adjustment here over the last couple days up and down the North and South Island area. Nothing big yet, but definitely keep an eye on that region. And there's today's activity there being clustered around the Indonesia Islands area, Philippines southward across the Java Trench here. Quite a bit of earthquake activity stirring up today in this region. Quiet zones. Looks like the area north into the Izu Trench, Japan area. The Kurokamachaka is showing a little bit of activity here today, 4.5 and a 4.2 up north. The USGS reporting 4.5, 7 o'clock this morning, but it looks like there was another earthquake further up north here as well. So some slight uptick there across that major subduction zone area. South America, a handful of earthquakes there, but nothing big going on for now. And definitely seems as though maybe this earthquake last night put the strain across the region of the North American plate. I always like to watch and see what happens following large events, see where the pressure migration may tend to build. California, not so much. We're not really seeing anything major in terms of uptick yet, but definitely looks like there's some strain out here across the North American plate. And down in Louisiana, oil fields getting hit. Goodness. All right, back over here across the area, 5.0 way out into the area of, well, this is actually, it looks like it's on the China side, or maybe right on the border, 5.0. This is the area that's seen that larger quake activity a couple days ago. Still seeing some aftershock activity in that region. One earthquake over in Turkey, 5.1. This is western Turkey. About 11 kilometers deep for that quake was felt, close to the Aegean Sea. Nothing going on out here across the Atlantic in terms of any earthquake activity. Looks like Iceland did see a 3.1 up here, very close to the Grindavik area. So let's go see what's going on there across that area with earthquake activity. Here's, well, this is the last 12 hours. It may have been, that 3-pointer may have been, well, there's a 2.5 way over here, but that 3-pointer may be past the 24 or the 12-hour map. Handful of earthquakes here across Grindavik. Nothing major, nothing compared to what Kīlauea Volcano is seeing right now in terms of the multitude of quakes. Let's check out the GPS and the deformation activity. Wow, got a little bit of a downturn here in terms of the Savart-Singi 4-hour run. We've been going up and up and up, and it looks like the past couple runs here have showed these dots going down a little bit. Let me see what we got on the 4-hour run or 8-hour run times through all of them, all of these graphs. I want to check out Grindavik here, which is right here. These guys, though, looks like it's still showing upwards. So I'll continue to watch it. Doesn't look like there's anything going on currently right now yet. But, you know, the latest update they put out here a couple days ago states that the magma accumulation continues beneath the Savart-Singi area with a little bit of deflation. I've seen that on the graph here, just the one that I just showed you. So continue to watch that area. One earthquake here back prior to the subduction zone. That was early this morning, 4.2. Alaska's been a little strained up here recently with that 5-pointer they had a couple days ago around the Aurora Lodge region. Still seeing some aftershock activity up here. Looks like some 2s and 1s. This area definitely being hit with quite a bit of earthquake activity. And I think we got to go back further than that because that 5-pointer is a ways back. Somewhere back here. There it is. Goodness, there's so many earthquakes here. 5.3 on the 19th. So a lot of this activity is the majority of it is a huge amount of aftershock activity from a 5.3. That's crazy. That's a lot of movement, it seems like, for a moderate-sized earthquake. A little bit of migration off of this main region south here, southeast. So we'll continue to watch it. Definitely a sign of some strain out here in the area of Alaska. Let's see what else here. Let's see if they've reviewed this yet, this 3.5. Reviewed. Yes, it has been reviewed. A few more folks reported feeling this earthquake there, it looks like. And these are some of the magnitudes here that various stations picked it up and reviewed it to an extent of a magnitude and whatnot. Some of these reporting that earthquake may be up around a 4-pointer. The majority, though, looks like it is around 3.5. But you know, after manual review, looks like the seismologists agreed that it's 3.5 at 5 kilometers deep. And again, this is in the oil fields, gas and oil fields of Louisiana. All right, space weather activity. Anything major going on? Doesn't look like it. We're flatlining here. We're losing our flare potential due to, well, most of the active regions now much further off on the western limb. In fact, they're continuing to decay. They will be out of sight, out of mind here in the day or so. In a day or so, it looks like. And we're left with a few sunspots out here. Pretty decent size, but notice the separation here. Not a whole lot of independent cores that would give us the idea that they're gaining strength or in complexity. It looks like things are fairly quiet, or at least we're entering into a quiet period here right now. Don't really expect much from those newer sunspot regions. 90% chance for a C flare, M flare at 30, X flare around 1% chance. So things are going down. Not a whole lot of hope there in the Aurora department. Things are fairly quiet as we look across the board. All right, Storm Prediction Center. We do have a very slight risk down here across mainly, looks like Florida, well, Georgia in there as well. And maybe a portion of, well, let's see what we got for 5% zone here. Yeah, it looks like mainly limited for a 5% zone across this area for tornado activity, although we do have a 2% way up north here across areas of Tennessee eastward for a tornado threat as well. Wind is the secondary threat, so if you're out there today, keep an eye on the sky. Over here in California, we got a little slight chance for some thunderstorm activity, but really not expecting much. Our next storm system out here in the west coast will be here, it looks like Wednesday into Thursday. It's going to be a quick mover, but there's some decent precipitation accumulation rates here. And that scoots aside. There is that return of the Southern California storm. Remember, we checked this last night, and it kind of disappeared off the GFS run. Well, it looks like it's back and hit. Looks like it's going to hit Southern California here as we head into late next weekend into the first part of the week next week. Not this coming week, but next week. And looks like more storm systems after that. So we'll continue to watch things and see what happens. All right, folks, I'm out of here. Have yourself a good day. We'll keep an eye on the Hot Caves, Hawaii station there and the continued activity across the Kīlauea volcano. Definitely looks like things want to pick up there in that region. Have a good day. Enjoy your Saturday. We'll catch you guys back here tonight. Saturday night update.